October 7th, 2019. This is Joe's Simple Life Show. SimpleLifeRemedy.org is the website. I appreciate everybody for liking, sharing, subscribing, doing all the good social media stuff, because that really does help us out. We are a 401c charity that benefits the less fortunate, the hungry, and, of course, the veteran population as well. So the New York Times actually recently came out with an article that is under controversy, as very common with the New York Times. Fox had something to say about it, and I'll play this clip here for you in a second.
New York Times op-ed stirring backlash for depicting a fictional argument between Flyover Man, explaining his support for President Trump, to Urban Guy amid the push for impeachment. Urban Guy says, quote, "I hope you read the rough transcript of that call, that Trump phone call with the Ukrainian president. Trump clearly used public power to ask a foreign leader to dig up dirt on a political opponent. Now, Flyover Man, I'm going to use the same voice. I haven't really had time to look into it. There's always some fight between Trump and the East Coast media. I guess I just try to stay focused on the big picture." Exactly. Here to react, commentary editor of the Washington Examiner and author of this book, Alienated America. And this is basically exactly what your book's about, Tim. So they did depict it accurately.
Okay, so I'm not going to actually play this entire clip because it really doesn't have a lot to do with it. But they did want to kind of lead that in to the whole thing. Hold on for a second. They did want to lead that into the whole thing, for the intro to the Flyover. Now, this David Brooks, he's not a very popular character in the New York Times. I'm not sure why he still has a job. He's not a very great writer. I'm not saying he's dumb, but he does accomplish one thing. Now, I don't have a subscription to the New York Times, but I was able to copy and paste the article itself, which was a conversation between Urban Guy and Flyover Man. Of course, Flyover Man is any man that is between the East and West Coast and any of the states that are worthless, that you just fly over, that are completely worthless. Of course, I live in one of the flyover states of Ohio. Of course, a lot of people would say that Ohio is a very important state to win during an election, but who cares, right? So what I really got out of this is the complete lack of understanding of why people still support Trump. Okay, even though that Trump we didn't elect a person that we felt was going to be a good speechwriter, very eloquent. We did that with Obama. At least I did twice with Obama until I got tired of it. And I really wanted someone that was an actual leader in there that might be able to shake things up and might get us on the right path, that sort of thing. We're always trying to get back on the right path, but it just seems like we're just not going in the right direction. That's why people still support Trump. That's why people are all in on Trump, because the alternative is so bad. That's what they don't understand. That the alternative with even the rhinos on the right and obviously the progressively more socialist, more fascist section of the candidates that we have on the left-hand side. And they're just getting worse and worse and worse. Of course, now Bernie Sanders, we can just go ahead and count him out. He is not going to get any kind of a nomination. It's really going to be between Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden. I personally believe that Elizabeth Warren is going to get it. But this whole article from David Boone with the New York Times just kind of serves to prove the point that the Democrats, they simply don't get it. Every time that they try to make some sort of connection with people who live a normal life or one of the normies, they simply just don't get it. They really don't get it. They don't understand. They made fun of Trump for loving McDonald's. Well, McDonald's is one of the last bastions of capitalism. I mean, that is one of the quintessential voices of capitalism right there. That is what's helped grow so much industry, not just McDonald's itself, but the whole idea behind McDonald's and franchises and stuff like that, and the whole the spreading out and the progressive of capital and capital investments and stuff like that, and lifting everyone out of poverty. Everybody gets lifted up just a little bit more. Doesn't mean everybody has to be rich. Okay, it just lifts everyone up out of poverty, or what used to be considered poverty. And we all know this. This is simple 101 type stuff. It just seems like the people on the left just simply don't get it. And this is a good example of why they don't get it. I'm not going to read this entire thing, but it starts off with Urban Guy saying, "I hope you read the rough transcript of that Trump phone call with the Ukrainian president. Trump clearly used public power to ask a foreign leader to dig up dirt on his political opponent. This is impeachable. I don't see why you can deny the facts in front of your face. Flyover Man says, I haven't really had time to look into it. There's always some fight between Trump and the East Coast media. I guess I just try to stay focused on the big picture. The big picture is this, he continues. We knew the guy was a snake when he signed up. Of course, this is what we all say, right? But he was the only one who saw us. He was the only one who saw the America we love is being transformed in front of our eyes. Good jobs for hardworking people are gone. Our community's in tatters. Our kids in trouble. I had one shot at change, so I made a deal with the devil, and you have made it too. Nothing in this impeachment mess makes me rethink this bargain. If people like you are unable to acknowledge my dignity and see my problems, I'll stay with Trump. And this whole thing just keeps going on and on and on. Okay, Urban Guy really doesn't say much. He just says that Trump committed a whole bunch of high crimes, but of course there's no real proof of this. There's nothing. And also another thing, where is this whistleblower, by the way? We have a second whistleblower right now. Why haven't we heard from the first? Why is that just constant? Why is that being swept under the rug? I haven't heard anything. Have you? I haven't heard anything about that. But I told you this was going to happen. You're going to have more people coming up doing a whole bunch of hearsay. It's going to be a hearsay fiesta. That's what it's going to be. And a whole bunch of people are going to come forward, and they're just going to have all kinds of whistleblowers, and we're just going to keep this thing going until November 2020. And that's what's just going to happen. Of course, he continues here. Urban Guy says, we became Trumpocentric because his daily outrages undermine norms, spread xenophobia, and degrade public morality. Flyover Man says, you think that because you have the kind of jobs that allow you to follow Twitter all day. I don't have that luxury. Excuse me. So all the passing nonsense seems far away. I have to deal with the actual realities of my life. And that, a lot of these things, this is the psychology of what this guy's doing. He's smart. But the problem is that no real Trump supporter or Republican, at least not too many of them, are ever going to really read this. The only reason why I'm reading this is because it was already in the news. People were already talking about it. It was controversial. I'm always about talking about the New York Times and mainstream media and how they get it wrong and how they just don't get it, because we all know that they don't get it because they live in their own little bubble. They live in their East and their West Coast bubble, and that's kind of what I mean. If they're doing it, they're doing anything but just coming out and admitting that we just don't understand you, but you're worthless. And here we go again with the whole deplorable thing and how Trump supporters are just backwood hillbilly morons that's leading this country in the wrong direction. Last time I looked, this country was not on fire. It was actually doing a lot better. If I could say a lot better, but even if you're a critic of Trump, you'd have to admit it that it's doing a little bit better. I mean, you would have to be you couldn't be that blind not to say that it's doing a little bit better in a lot of ways. I mean, that's what kind of blows my mind about this whole thing is that you can be on one side and just simply not see the other. I try to see the points on the left that the left makes. I really do. But it's getting so hard at this point because it's just turning into nothing but propaganda. And that's all this piece is. I know it's an opinion piece, but it's absolutely ridiculous. Just tell me what your opinion is. I get that. But this whole Flyover Man and Urban Guy, it's so creepy. I mean, it's so creepy because, are we not living in a time, 2019, where we can't just express ourselves and give our opinions on stuff? What's up with all of the sick psychological neuro-linguistic programming that's going on in the mass media? It's absolutely ridiculous. And they know the only reason why they keep doing it is because they know it works. That's the sick part, and that's the scary part, because it still works. Until next time, this is Joe with Simple Life Show. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.